Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Carlton. How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are okay. Hope everybody's healthy and learning how to do this homeschool thing. Remember that my office hours are any day of the week during the day. I am usually always on my computer or very close, so feel free to email me with any questions and I'll get back to you very shortly, okay? We still have our live meeting on Thursday, so you can come to that. So today is our second lesson this week. We are continuing with section 7.3. So let's put 7.3 continued in our notes. Today's work comes from page 303. So if you have your Big Ideas textbook, you can open up to that. Or if you have a screen available, remember, go to bigideas.com or bigideasmath.com and log in with Clever. Okay, you can look at your textbook there. We're continuing with Pythagorean theorem, so let's label that. Pythagorean theorem. Okay. So on Monday, we learned what the Pythagorean theorem is. It's basically a new math rule that helps us work with right triangles. And on Monday, that lesson number 2 helped us find how we can locate the measure of a missing hypotenuse. That's the longest side, the one across from the right angle. Well, today we are going to work to find a missing leg. Okay, so that means one of the other two sides. One of the two sides that makes up the right angle is what we're going to work with today. So when you're doing that, there's actually one extra step. I know you guys don't like the extra work, but it's not a long step, so don't panic. Extra step of subtraction to get the variable alone. Okay, so as always, we are still trying to get our variable by itself. And today the variable is going to be the missing leg. Okay, and it could be A or B, either one. It doesn't matter which one you use as your missing piece. Okay, so let's put a little star next to that, an asterisk, to remind ourselves that that's important. Okay, we're still looking to get our variable alone, and we're looking for the missing leg, which is A or B. All right, let's try one. Let's do example 1 together. Now, this is from the textbook, so once again, if you're following along, if not, just draw this picture. Okay, here's our first right triangle. It has a box in the corner. This side length is 9 inches. And the hypotenuse is 41 inches. Okay, pause your movie for a minute so that you can make sure you get this triangle written down. Okay, so we have one of our legs, the other leg is missing. We know it's a leg missing because it's attached to the right angle. Across from the right angle is our hypotenuse, so they gave us that. So this is a missing leg, so let's call that A. The other leg is going to be B, and our hypotenuse is always C. Now, A and B, as I mentioned before, are interchangeable. So if you wanted your missing to be B and A here, that's okay. The process is going to be the same. So the process starts us with the same equation. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Same Pythagorean theorem as before, okay? Always the next step, we're going to fill in the information that we know. Now, A is our missing piece, so we just leave it as A. And don't forget, everything has to be squared. So A squared plus B is our other leg, that's 9. So 9 squared. And it equals C, the hypotenuse, which is 41. Okay, so at this point, you can see that you're going to need your calculator out. So if you have a calculator that you can grab that, or if you need to use your phone or some other kind of device, but we're going to need a calculator today. All right, so let's go ahead and simplify what we can. A squared stays the same. 9 squared means 9 times 9, which is 81. Go ahead and do that on your calculator, 41 squared. And that is 1,681. Okay, so at this point, you can look at this and see that it's exactly like a one-step equation. So once again, that work on equations is coming back into us, okay? And we have to remember those same properties. So I'm still trying to get this variable by itself. In order to get that variable by itself, we have to get rid of 81. So I'm going to subtract 81 from both sides. That's the extra step. So these cancel out, so we're left with a squared over here, which is what we wanted. We wanted to get the variable by itself. And it equals, on this side, 1681 minus 81 is 1,600. Okay, so even though we have A by itself, we're not finished yet because two things. Remember, this is still squared. So if it's squared, that means we're not done with it yet, okay? And also, if we put 1600 over here in our picture, it doesn't make any sense. It's way too big. So in order to get A by itself, we have to take the square root of 1600. And go ahead and do that using your calculator. Hopefully you find out that A is 40. That's our final answer, okay? And when you put it back into the picture, 40 inches, it's a sensible choice because you can see that the hypotenuse is still the longest. Always check for that. That hypotenuse has to be the longest. And these two are a little shorter, but yet 40 kind of fits in there, okay? All right, let's do one more example together, then I'm going to have you try one on your own. We're going to do another example, but it's an Oyo problem. So we're doing the Oyos, number 3, and draw this picture. It's another right triangle. Don't forget the little box in the right corner. This time they tell us that this side is 16 yards and this side is 34 yards. So we're missing this piece here, and once again, it's a missing leg. Okay, we know that because it's attached to the right angle, so it forms the right angle. The one across from it, the hypotenuse, is already given. This time, let's use B for our missing leg. That means A is 16 and C is 34. It doesn't matter if you use A or B. You can do whichever one you like best. All right, so at this point, we're going to start with our equation. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, now fill in what you need. Okay, so we're going to fill in all the information that we can see in the picture. A is 16, so 16 squared, plus B, we don't know what that is, so we leave it as B squared. And C, we can tell, is 34. Don't forget, everything has to be squared. All right, so use your calculator and simplify these numbers. Too bad we're not in class. I could use my cards. I'm really missing my cards. Next time I go back to the building, I think I'll grab them and call on people during our meetings. Okay, so 16 squared is 256. Plus, we leave B squared as it is. And hopefully you got 1,156 for 34 squared. Okay, so remember, we're trying to get the variable alone, that B. So if we want to get that alone, that means we have to get rid of this number. It's a positive 256. So I'm going to subtract 256 from both sides. These cancel out, leaving me with B squared, which is what I wanted because we got that variable isolated. And over here, I end up with 900. Now, even though B is by itself, it's not done yet because B is still squared. So remember, in order to get B by itself, square root of 900 has to be done. So when you punch square root of 900 into the calculator, hopefully you get B is 30. So when you put that over here into our picture, 30 yards. Now let's make sure it's sensible. You can see the hypotenuse is still the longest, but 30 does kind of go with the other two, so that makes sense. All right, I'm going to give you one to try by yourself. Number 4. This one's got decimals, and it still works the same. Remember, decimals are just numbers between 0 and 1. So draw the picture first. And here's our right angle. This is 9.6 meters, and this is 10.4 meters. Okay, now I want you to try this one for yourself. Remember, you're always going to start with the same equation, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And c is the hypotenuse. So c is given to us. Remember, it's always across from the right angle. So 10.4 has to be c. But you can choose if you want 9.6 to be a or b. It doesn't matter. Okay, so use which one you want. So go ahead, pause the movie and work through that. All right. I'm going to use my missing side as A. If you chose B, it's okay. Your final answer will be the same. 9.6 is B, so 10.4 we already determined was C. So A squared plus 9.6 squared equals 10.4 squared. All right, now let's go ahead and simplify. A squared stays the same. 9.6 squared equals 92.16, and 10.4 squared equals 108.16. All right, we want to get our variable a by itself, so I have to subtract 92.16 from both sides. These cancel out, so a squared is all alone, which is what we wanted. And when I do this subtraction, I end up with 16. So in order to get a alone, remember, take the square root of 16, and you get a is equal to 4. Now, if you had b here, that's perfectly fine, as long as you know that you're finding that other missing leg, which is 4 meters. And it does fit in nicely because this is still the longest, but it's not too far off of our other pieces. Okay? All right, so still the same formula that we're using for Pythagorean theorem, and this time it was finding the missing leg. Now, on some of the assignments, you're going to see missing legs missing, but once in a while, they might throw one in there that has the hypotenuse missing, so just be careful of that. Make sure you look before you start. I always suggest, no matter what the shape looks like, when you get your paper, label it. Let's say if this is the right angle. That's not a very good drawing, but you guys get the idea. Label it your Pythagorean theorem first, and then A and B, so you can see if you're missing an A or a B, which means a missing leg, or if you're missing C, which means the missing hypotenuse. Okay? All right, so let's reach for our planners or write down something so you know what you have to do this week. So today is May 6th. It's Wednesday. Tomorrow is May 7th, Thursday. So you can be doing this assignment Wednesday or Thursday, depending on what hour you are. But once again, remember, you can do these anytime you want. So once again, the same thing. You're going to choose an assignment. Choose an assignment. And I have 4 choices on there again, so take a look through all 4, do which one you want, and check it. The keys are there. I want you to do the work first and then check it. Then step 2, let's reverse the order of these two. Play quizzes. The quizzes game, the link is on the Google Classroom. under the assignments tab because it's an assignment, so play quizzes. And then last, let's have you do the self-assessment because there might be something that you learn in the quizzes game. You probably notice that they have like redemption questions or practice questions. So maybe you've learned a little bit after playing that. So then third is to do the self-assessment on lesson 3. And that's also in the Google Classroom under the assignments tab. So these are your 2 points, okay? So each lesson has 2 points, playing the quizzes game and doing the self-assessment. Now, don't forget everything is due Friday. So lesson 2 and 3 due Friday. Okay, so you have to have it turned in by Friday because I have to compile a list of people who aren't participating and turn that into the office every week. Okay? If you have any questions, remember to just send me an email. We do have a meeting, 2 o'clock, for hours 1, 5, and 6, 2:30 for hours 3 and 4. And those meeting links will be up on the Google Classroom either Wednesday night or Thursday morning. And hopefully we won't have any pop-in visitors like we did last week. I think we're safe now. And I think that's it. Okay, I'll see you guys Thursday at the meeting. Talk to you soon. Good luck. Bye.